When making flying geese, there are a couple different ways you can do so, but today I'm going to show you how to use the flippy corner method. So I'm going to take my background fabric that is 3.5 by 6.5, along with one of my pop fabric pieces, and this is 3.5 by 3.5. I am going to lay this on my background fabric corner to corner, getting everything nice and lined up. I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to pin one corner of it diagonally so that I can draw a horizontal line from this corner to this corner. Now I'm going to get my ruler, and I have a water-soluble pen right here that I'm going to be using today. You can use an air dry pen, you could even use a pencil if you wanted to, but I am going to be using a water-soluble quilting pen. And these were found on Amazon. If you are looking to purchase some for yourself, here's the brand. And this came in a big package, and I find them extremely helpful. So now that I've done that, I'm going to pin the other side of the ghosts to the background fabric. And that is step 1 of making my flying geese. Now step 2, I'm going to bring it up here onto my machine, and I'm going to sew along this line. Now I am putting the corner of my fabric right up underneath the needle, lining it up with that little red line right there. And I'm just going to sew along this line. All right, now that I'm done sewing that, I'm going to bring it over here, back to my cutting board, so I can finish up step 1. I'm going to remove my pins. I'm going to take my ruler. This ruler has a bunch of little lines. I'm going for this one. It is a 1/4 inch in. For this flippy corner method, I'm only going to leave a 1/4 inch for my seam. I'm lining it along the seam line. I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to cut along the ruler's edge, holding the ruler nice and firm. I like to pick up my fabric first. See, sometimes I don't always get a perfect cut, and I like to make sure I don't move my ruler. Now that I've removed this, I'm going to cut away my flyaway strings. And I'm going to go iron this down. That way I have the first corner of my flying geese completed. Okay, now to complete my flying geese, I'm going to open it up, I'm leaving it facing up, and I'm going to pull this to the side, leaving this flat right here. Now most of the time you can get away with just doing this. But for my project specifically, I actually want to open this seam line up. The way that I do that is I just grab the side that's laying on top, leaving the bottom piece there, and use my iron to press it over. There's less risk of me burning my fingers this way. Now again, you could just leave it like that now that your seam line is open. But for my project, I need things to be as flat as possible. So I'm using a starching spray, and I'm going to lay it flat with a starching spray. Now, I'm not affiliated with anybody. This is just the starching spray we tend to use around here. Now, that is the first part of my flying geese completed. Make sure you follow along for part 2 to see how to add the other corner of the flying geese using the flippy corner method.